Out with just opening segments heading into the fall, and then we'll let them fire away the questions.
You know, we can't wait to get out on the baseball field today at Plainsman Park, and I guess renovated facility here with our surface. But we've been working hard since school started, mainly in the weight room over in Watson. The old track we got acquainted with this fall so far in our small group work. The softball, the program's been phenomenal to us, letting us work out a little bit. But to be able to get out on the field now with having every player, when I address the team when we start and have every player instead of maybe one position at a time, is going to be neat. And then we'll start today, and you know, we'll go until November the 17th with our fall segment as an entire team. We'll start our squad games, which we'll try to do every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and that will begin next Wednesday, October the 11th. But I think everybody's excited to get on the field today.
Coach, how is Casey doing, and what's his plan for the fall?
Yeah, we are. I think October the 23rd is when we'll start back with a throwing program with him. But Casey Mize and Davis Daniel will not throw in the squad games this fall. Just to, you know, they both not only did well for us during the season, but they also went out and competed in the summer. Casey with USA Baseball, Davis with Cape Cod League, and you know, when you look at it, at the end of the day, Davis being a freshman, I put him in that same category with Casey to have a partner, and you know, Davis wound up having 16 starts for us prior to going and throwing 20-plus innings in the Cape. So it's just a feature to give both of them amount of rest. If we're trying to pitch in two out of the three phases, and we have so many new guys that we need to take a look at, start teaching and growing. We thought that the throwing program, not throwing competitive to hitters, would give him the best chance to have the best spring in 18.
How's Casey feeling? How's his arm?
I think he feels great. We haven't, like I said, we hadn't been throwing much, doing a lot of rehab, or I'd call it a prehab. You know, rehab's like getting back from something. Prehab's more of continuing, just trying to see how strong we can get, give us maybe a better chance of getting through that season without having to miss a start or two. So that's the goal. But we will start back throwing October the 23rd, and I think he feels great today.
Butch, what will set up big with you and Steve as far as the pitchers go?
I don't know. I think we'll have to go through the fall to figure that out. I wanted Steve Smith to be part of our program because I thought it made our players better, and on and off the field, and for myself too. I think, you know, going into this being my third season, I guess, as a head coach, maybe fourth, 20 years ago being a head coach, I thought he would make me a better coach as well. Seeing how this works, seeing how we work together, I think if I sat here and crystallized it today, that it would change. So I think we're just going to go out and try to help our players the best we can. I've always said, even last year, or the last 2 years working with pitchers, that I need everybody out here to be a pitching coach. I need the catchers to be a pitching coach. I need Keegan Thompson last year. I remember calling him a pitching coach multiple times. I need everybody involved. But how we structure, how we work together, I think we'll have to define that this fall, and then we'll have to do the whole thing again going into the spring. How's it going to work in a real game? So this will be a journey for us, and but I'm happy to remove myself or minimize myself to help continue to grow the program, and I'm so thankful to have Steve here.
Do y'all have the same pitching philosophy, or is it a little bit different?
I think so. We kind of came from the same area. Prior to his 21 years as the head coach at Baylor, he was at Mississippi State, I believe, for 4 years. And I used to go work camps for Steve. Steve would run the camps at Mississippi State, and I remember being a pitching coach there, taking notes and, you know, running a squad and working camps there. So I think Pat McMahon was an influence on us all. Mark Johnson for him at Texas A&M, and all those were under that Ron Polk tree. So I do think with the basic philosophies and setup and terminology, we started at the same place. I would say over 2 decades, there's probably, you know, we probably went different ways, but I do think we see the game the same way. And, you know, all that was taken care of before we made this, before we united, to make sure we were comfortable with all that. And I do think we have a really good, deep layer of common ground.
Well, it's just the importance of a lot of positions, but catcher. I mean, you lose 2 seniors and had 3 guys basically kind of going to look out this fall, right?
Yeah, huge question mark. I kind of the scales of justice and balancing that. You know, I go like every infielder's back from last year. If you go Anthony, Holland, Jarvis, Ingram, Connor Davis, there gives you a point of what you would think would be a strength for us. The catching position, having 2 seniors last year with Blake Logan and Damon Hacker, I don't have a percentage, but I know it's really, really high. If it's probably 90 to 95% of the innings played last year by those 2 guys that are gone. We're glad to have Blake Logan, you know, part of our program still helping us out. But Mike Rojas is the only returner that we have, and you know, he's definitely has all the tools. And I think being here a year and knowing how we run things and how to practice and how to compete, I think he's probably pretty excited to get out here today and start that journey to try to take over. Brett Wright from San Jacinto, San Jack out in Texas, junior college, has probably really impressed us thus far. He has a feel to hit, a knack to hit, hitterish. He really gets low, receives the ball well, he's got a good arm. He's impressed us so far. And then Stephen Williams, I mean, he's one of our top guys, heralded guy outside of Tanner Burns, probably the highest potential, got the most draft noise, and him coming from Albany, Georgia, being a true freshman. He has the size, he's a left-handed at bat, he's got a good arm, great body. How can he grow? How ready is he? And I don't think we could tell that by doing drills on the old track. I think we got to get out here on our field and allow him to catch pitchers, run squad games to kind of see where he's at. And then our 4th catcher is Chase Hall from Southern Union. So we got 4 guys. We got 1 returner, 3 new guys. And I appreciate the question, because that's one of the biggest things going into fall practice is who's going to catch and make these pitchers better and serve them well, as we got to come up with a new one.
Where does Venter sort of fit in with this crowded infield here?
Yeah, definitely going to work at third a ton. I could even see him going across to first base. But I think early in the fall, if we divide that in the fifths, I would say 4/5 of his time is going to be at third base. And then maybe 1/5 of the time in some of the squad games, I could see myself, hey, go play first base the last 2 innings, and maybe grabbing a left field spot here and there. But I would still say the vast majority is going to be at third base, with also making sure we get a look at him at first base and left field from a secondary position.
Along the same lines as Steve, kind of what will Carl's role be?
Yeah, he's got such a good gift. He's a dual threat. So not only is he a recruiting coordinator, but he's so gifted, you know, as a player in our league and as a hitter. He played professionally. Carl's a dual threat from the standpoint that he offers so much on the field that we've got to use him. I would say today in the future he's going to be our first base coach, but I think he's going to have a huge line share in our hitting, especially if you'd use the word mechanically with developing the swing. He's advanced. He's running offense. He's coming to us from running an offense at the Division I level at Old Dominion and Conference USA. So he has too many skills, too much to do, not to have a real purpose on the field. So he's been helping Coach Sisson a ton with our hitting and almost sharing in those responsibilities, and that's really helped Doug continue to kind of serve out the entire field.
You're going to be looking, I guess, at a lot of young pitchers this fall. Just talk about those a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting. We've done 4 bullpens to a catcher, no hitter, and then last week we started with this week I guess they'll throw twice. So we're about to get ready today and tomorrow, the first 2 days of practice for them to throw to hitters again. And Tanner Burns is as advertised. Cody Greenhill was really exciting to see. It's one thing to watch a bullpen and somebody try to hit a target. It's another thing for a hitter to stand in the box and you start getting more of appreciation of where everybody's skill level's at and probably get a better read. But those 2 guys were really good. I've been really excited about Jack Owen from Laguna Beach, California, and it has a lot to do with just his feel of the baseball, being able to throw a fastball on both sides of the plate. Left-handed is huge. Maybe that's part of the reason why I like him so much, but great feel from the left side, second, third pitch to go with it, all for strikes would excite any coach. So he's done well. Ryan Horter from Wisconsin, the first time he threw the hitters was exciting. And, you know, we got a whole host of still a ledger of a lot of new guys that can help us out. But, you know, when you don't see, it's hard to evaluate where you're at pitching-wise. What this does with 29 of our starts from last year, not participating in these activities, it really, I think, helps us grow a deeper staff. And, you know, I think I've said it a couple of times with Keegan, you just don't replace Keegan Thompson, and that's respect for him. So I don't know if we can get any better in our top 5 when you take a Keegan Thompson out of respect for him. But what I feel in my gut and seen thus far is I feel like if you start going 6 through 10, I think that's where we've grown in another year of recruiting as I see more depth at the pitching position. So 1 through 5, we'll have to work really hard to improve that. 6 through 10, I do feel like what I've seen so far is pretty exciting to feel like that we've added a little more depth to our pitching staff.
When you say Tanner Burns as advertised, what does that mean?
Pretty good. Ball comes out of his hand good and very competitive. I've used one word to describe our guys. The first one that's come to my mind after watching them 4 or 5 weeks is it's a serious group. And of course that starts at the top. And we're really trying to mesh 17 new guys with 17 returners. And Luke Jarvis is a serious ball player, all the way down to a Tanner Burns being a freshman. But he takes every swing with intent, and every ball that leaves his hand is pretty convicted. The first feel I got about the ball club, and I don't know if it makes you a good ball club or not. We're not at that stage here on the process, but there's a very serious component to the ball club, and I want them to laugh and have fun, and I think they still do, but they're very serious when they go about their work, and I do think that's positive for this time of the year, and it's pretty neat to see that bookended with the oldest guy and with you know, one of your high-level new guys.
But Tanner, Cody, both two-way guys right now, just to kind of see, or just focusing on pitching, or how they going about things?
Yeah, a little bit of both, but they're the two what we call primary pitchers that are swinging the bat. So they're in a cage routine, they're taking batting practice, and we're going to allow them to get some at-bats in the squad games. Those are the only two. We're not asking them to play a position. I think they're so valuable to us on the mound, but we're still continuing to try to get as many hitters as we can, and power, and both those guys, you know, had produced that from a track record in high school. So they are hitting. We will have them participate fully as a hitter, but I guess you can call them DHs for the fall. So they're pitching and DHing all fall, and then we'll get to the finish line with that, and when we get back from Thanksgiving, we'll pick up the pieces in our fall meetings and see. Hopefully the game told us where to go instead of us, you know, deciding on our own. But those are the two pitchers that are swinging a bat this fall.